Gopal, thank you. Thank you for agreeing to join for this conversation. I thought you will be the best person we should be talking to, because you have been working, championing the cause of small businesses and traders and sellers, and you've been working very, very closely over the years with them. And today, while everyone is impacted and no one is not impacted, but especially we look from the lens of small businesses, they are very severely impacted. And then the estimate is the whole MSME space, right, like has come to a standstill. And I want to understand from you, what are you seeing? What is the impact that you are seeing, because you're so closely working with them?
First of all, thanks for your kind words and thanks for having me on the show. As you can realize, right, the whole country has come to a standstill, and it's been 8 weeks plus since the lockdown 1.0 started. And it's not a India only phenomena. It happens everywhere. But in India, it's even more impacted because MSMEs are the backbone of our economy. A significant portion of GDP, retail consumption GDP, is driven by SMBs. And by any estimate, we have 60 to 70 million SMBs across the country. And when they are impacted, the whole economy gets impacted. There is no question about it. What we are seeing is, and we've been working with them for the last 8 weeks to better understand what's going on. And there are 3 or 4 key things emerge as the biggest pain points for them. One is getting access to supply, the raw material and stuff, because of the logistics issues, and whether they are a reseller or a manufacturer, access to raw materials or the products are very important. Then working capital becomes a big issue because the cash flow, they turn the cash, that's how they are normally used to operate. Now there is a break on that. Then if you think about access to high quality talent or resources to operate in their warehouses, there is a demand for that because there is a lot of impact on standard employees and stuff. Then also the logistics capability. It's slowly opening up, but for the first 6 to 8 weeks, it was a struggle. So across the board, what we are seeing is there are a lot of efforts companies like Amazon can do to help them. At the same time, there are a lot of things they depend on government to support them in several aspects as well. I can briefly touch upon the things that we are doing to help them. So from that aspect, I'll broadly put it in 3 buckets, right? One is small businesses as a consumer, and also the regular consumers and employees working from home for other corporates or small companies, all of them. Online commerce or e-commerce or online in general is helping the customers from a perspective of this is the safest way to get access to products while maintaining social distancing and also form the safeguards that they can have. And it's true for employees as well. So we can give the work from home essentials or whatever. Then if you think about the MSMEs into account, what we realized is there is a lot of things, there is no playbook, first of all. Everybody's trying to figure it out as we go through this process. What we realized was there are a lot of small businesses impacted. So we looked into multiple buckets because the livelihood of small businesses and how we need to help them is a very critical factor for us. So we looked into offering, selling on Amazon a fee waiver. We give a 50% fee waiver for small businesses who are making less than 10,000 rupees in sales. Then we said we will waive off a lot of fees like storage fees, long-term storage fees, cancellation fees, because a lot of things are not in their control. So we wanted to honor that and say we will be there in their difficult times. And then we relaxed a lot of policies because the logistics were not completely operations. They are not getting the curfew passes and things like that. Then we changed some of the waiver windows. Say if you want to apply for a certain things within 30 days, 60 days, we expanded that horizon so that it can be helpful. Then we launched some of the reward programs to bring in selections that are essential and critical for customers, like masks and sanitizers and stuff like that. So overall, and we continue to work on behalf of the SMB customer needs, and we will continue to make launch initiatives as they are ready. Then, if you take a step back, there are a lot of programs that are helping SMBs across the country. For example, Amazon Pay is available in 5 million merchants. So that enables contactless payments. Local shops, we will talk more, which is helping offline shops to use e-commerce as an additional channel for them to get the revenue they need. Then we also have a B2B marketplace, which is helping Kirana shops to small businesses to procure products so they don't have to go to the markets or trade fairs to get the products. They can get the same products as if they are getting the B2C products, but in a B2B manner. So across the board, we are not only acting on things that customers and selling partners and small businesses are asking for us, but also we are innovating on behalf of them.
Yeah, no, Gopal, thank you. I'm sure a lot of small businesses would value so much at this time what you're doing. I wanted to understand more, if you could, because you've been in the trenches with the small businesses, helping them. I just want to understand also from a larger context of the MSME, right? Because MSME is the backbone, as you said, and we know. In our country, there was a slowdown, a little bit of slowdown before this lockdown. What do you have to say if we have to revive, revitalize, and grow the MSME space? What are some of the key things that needs to be done?
Number one is to understand the pain points they have. And I'm sure there are a lot of other things like the supply chain, raw material, working capital, access to manpower. Then they also, when we did a survey with about 2,000 plus sellers, they all said, like, more than 3/4 of them said how they are looking for some kind of an online channel as a way to diversify their business, because they understand the footfall is not going to come back to the previous levels drastically. Yeah. It's going to take time before we ramp up. So from Amazon perspective, we have worked on multiple initiatives, local shops. We have something called I Have Space program, which enables MSMEs to be the delivery partner. We have more than 20,000 of them. And we also have Amazon Easy, which is to help customers choose the right product in a location and get it collected later on. Amazon Pay. So there are a lot of such initiatives going on. In addition, you may remember from our Sambal event happened in Jan. It feels like a long time ago, but it's just 4 months ago. We made a pledge to say we will digitize 10 million SMBs by 2025, and we will invest $1 billion to digitize them. And we will also help exports reach 10 billion in cumulative GMS. So those are all long-term initiatives by 2025 we are acting on. And for short-term initiatives like local shops, we're committing another 10 crore rupees to bring local shop owners to the program. But if you take a step back and wear the larger hat, what we also realize is there is a lot of help they need from other private institutions as well as the government. For example, the working capital. Access to capital is going to be a big issue if government can provide them liquidity measures and working capital lending and other means to help them out in this tough situations with the lower interest rates. That can be a helpful thing. But if you think about MSMEs coming to online commerce, not just Amazon in general, one of the taxes that are introduced in earlier this year, which is deferred to October, is TDS, and the government reduced from 1% to 0.75%. But we reiterate and urge the government to withdraw that because it can help lakhs and lakhs of sellers from a liquidity perspective. Same goes for TCS, which is collecting 1% at source, which is also a reduction or a waiver of that will go and help sellers come more to online in the months to come. Then the important factor, I think India is positioned really well, is exports. Across the world, companies are looking for diversifying their manufacturing capabilities and sources. India is positioned really well. We have high quality talent. We have access to raw material. We have access to technology, one of the strongest technology countries in the world. If you put all of them together, we are positioned well. But how do we help the small entrepreneurs and manufacturers reach global customers? So, for example, we have a global selling program that's focused on exports. We started 3-4 years ago, and today we have more than 60,000 manufacturers and resellers going through that program.
60,000.
60,000. And they have already generated by last Q1 $1 billion in cumulative GMS in exports. But this is just the really the iceberg kind of a thing where it's very small. It could be a huge opportunity. One of the biggest levers or enablers is, say, for example, India Post can offer a very cost competitive, trackable solution, because that puts Indian manufacturers in the world map. Because it's no longer that India, which is famous for manufacturing clothes in export quality products in the past, they've become global brands. Like if you think about it, Wow Shampoo to Wadam Tea to Play Shifu, there are so many Indian entrepreneurs who already established their presence globally. Yeah. But now it's about how do we remove the blockers, like the India Post solution can be an enabler. Or there is a new tax that was generated for a 2% levy for Indian exporters operating in other countries. So if we can remove or reduce that. So it's about identifying each pain point from a seller lifecycle perspective and make sure that we are creating an environment where the Indian manufacturers and brand owners and others can succeed at global scale.
Yeah. Gopal, sorry, but I'm going to ask you on this, because today to everyone who will be listening this and people will be watching this, just again on your export, this is like a huge number, like 60,000, you said. Yeah. 60,000 manufacturers or small businesses.
Mostly small businesses and manufacturers.
Yes, and they are exporting here from India to a global audience, and you as Amazon you are facilitating, making that happen. Like today, to everyone who will be watching this, and to a lot of people who might just want to get into the program or would like to expand their reach through this program. How can they get there? How can they get on the program?
One, when we started, it was like nobody even knew about the export opportunity, right? They know about it as a B2B exports. Nobody thought of it as a B2C exports is even possible. So we had to do a lot of awareness sessions, training sessions to convert some of these B2B manufacturers into B2C manufacturers. For example, California Design Den is a manufacturer who makes bed sheets. Wadam Tea, they used to sell tea powder to other global brands as a supplier. Now Wadam Tea, this is a very interesting story. It started by a 23-year-old guy called Bala. He started his brand called Wadam, putting his dad's name from the opposite, Madhav to Wadam. Today, in 4 years, they have made 50 times more growth.
Wow.
50 times more growth. They won the Power of Oprah Winfrey to Mariah Carey and others drink their tea. So they are getting, all they have to focus on was the quality of the product. Then it picked up because we are giving access to 300 million plus customers across the world from 185 plus countries. So these brands are like taken off.
Yeah.
Like Wow Shampoo, for example, is competing with big shampoo manufacturers in the US on .com. If you search for shampoo, they are in the top 5 results consistently. There is a company called Play Shifu. They manufacture STEM educational products. So these are sensory products that helps the kids. And they are able to see 5-7x spike, particularly during this time frame, because kids are looking for alternate ways to learn, and they are in the right position. So long story short, B2C exports and domestic e-commerce in a way has neutralized the playing field. It's a level playing field for everyone. So as long as you have motivated, talented entrepreneurs who can create innovative products, because nobody, like there is, I don't know if the sensory education product was not a category per se, and these guys created that category. And same for shampoo. Nobody thought we can compete with global top leaders in shampoo category, but Wow Shampoo challenged that. Same for bed sheets, same for shoes. There are so many products. India is very well positioned in terms of manufacturing capability and quality. And previously, they didn't get their fair money back. Vadanti, for example, says they are making 10x to what they were earning before because they are directly go to the customers, not through the contract route. So for all the people watching, and if you have a manufacturing capability and that you think is at a quality that you can export, you can earn in every particular currency you can think of right from your home. And so that's why we are very gung-ho about it. And we made a public pledge to say this $1 billion in sales we witnessed last year will go to $10 billion by 2025, because the opportunity is huge. And particularly this pandemic situation has created an urgency for the worldwide brands to diversify their sourcing and manufacturing strategy. And India is positioned right. And if we can give some of the enablers like what I just talked about, this can even go to a step function growth in the coming years and decades to come.
Yeah, but Gopal, you have to give us a cheat sheet. How do we get there? Like, how do we get
yeah, so we have a dedicated team focused on exports. So the URL I mentioned has the preliminary information you can submit. Then one of our team members will contact and take you through the process. We have Seller University videos for every step of the process. We have partnered with service providers who can help with tax, accounting, payment conversion. See, the way we look at it is, how do I make a offline manufacturer successful who don't know anything about exports or who don't know anything about e-commerce exports, B2C exports? We help them in each life cycle stage to make sure that they are successful. Even after they are launched, we provide account management services to help them with the category expansion, other things. This is one of the fun part. Have you heard of this soap called Chantrika soap?
Yeah.
It's Ayur. What's that?
I'm saying in Bangalore, I've seen it. It's here in Bangalore city.
Yeah, it's a 60-year-old soap, Ayurvedic, made like long time ago. And they were launched in the US a year or 2 years ago. And they ran Deal of the Day, which is like the way to create visibility. They were sold out. And it's not just for the soap purpose. They are using it as a shaving lather as well. So there are alternate use cases for the products we manufacture for India a different way. It gets applied in a different sense. For example, bed sheets are used as pillow throws and sofa couch throws and beach throws. And so there are a lot of alternate use cases. There is a butter getting used in bullet coffee. So there are so many such examples. As I said, for Indian manufacturers, this is the right time to be there in the right place. And if you are motivated and passionate about it, the world is yours.
Yeah, but Gopal, thank you, because this is very reassuring, and for everyone who's watching. So what you are saying and what we hear is that if we go to amazon.in/export, right? There is an opportunity today for all of us while we are in lockdown or semi-lockdown or opening up, is that we want to sell, we have something high quality through your platform. Today, we can reach the globe. We can reach and grow. In many cases, what you are saying is that people have grown 50 times. So it's just about building quality product. If you have, there is a platform and you reach. Yeah.
Absolutely. So if you happen to visit, there are 2 exports digest PDFs we have created with success stories from manufacturers like the people who are listening today, because these are all like normal, common man or women we can think of, and how they will leverage technology to succeed is really inspiring. I strongly urge everyone to visit the site, download the PDF to see how people like the audience today have taken the step to move forward. 4 years later, they are like much ahead. But the good news is this is just the beginning. We have a long way to go. Even if you join today, you are still in the early adopter stage, because we haven't passed the early adopter stage yet.
Wow. Yeah, this is very encouraging, and I'm sure very important for all the small business owners, for entrepreneurs, for startups. Gopal, I wanted to ask you this, that one of the debates, one of the discussions that we are seeing during the lockdown is the whole rise of Kirana. These are again small business owners, and this whole, again, there's so much of conversation happening about online, offline, small businesses and Kirana stores who were open, providing essential services, are backed, and they are important. So there are different sides to the debate. But what I want to understand from you, how do you interpret this offline, online, omni-channel, this multi-world where we are operating in? What do you have to say?
Let's take a step back, right? In the last 6 years, or 7 years in this June, we have always made it clear, in order to succeed in India, we need to succeed with SMBs. We cannot succeed if SMBs don't succeed. And they are the backbone of the country. And when we started with 100 sellers domestically. Today, we have more than 6 lakh sellers on the marketplace. And significant portion of them are MSMEs and small businesses. More than 50% come from tier 2 plus cities. And all of our programs, whether it's Amazon Karigar, which is focused on artisans and weavers, Amazon Sakeli, which is focused on women entrepreneurs, service provider network, ATIS program, Tatkal, all of them B2B marketplace. Everything is centered around SMB as a customer and how we can work backwards from their needs and help them out. Now, the existing programs we already have, for example, Amazon Easy is driven for Kirana shops, and where they can help other customers buy products from Amazon, even if they don't have an internet account, so that they can help buy it and collect it later. We have more than 20,000 such Easy owners. Then I have Space, who know the locality well. Our last mile delivery is significantly dependent on them, because they go and deliver the products in their vicinity. So for each package they deliver, they earn from it. So that is another program through which we are helping Kirana shops and service owners.
What is it called?
I Have Space.
I Have Space.
Yeah, basically you're saying, I have space in the local Kirana, but I don't necessarily have traffic all the time. Like, say, for example, if you're a jewelry shop, you may not get traffic in the afternoon. So you'll use that time, use the same resources to go deliver packages within a 1 or 2 kilometer radius, and they earn money. So this is an incremental channel for them. Amazon Pay in 5 million plus locations are accepting contactless payments. An extension of that is the local shops program. To give context, while we have a generic sell on Amazon program where anybody is allowed to sell, we also have cohort specific programs. So artisans and weavers, we have more than 8 lakhs artisans and weavers through Karigar program. And we have more than 2 lakh women entrepreneurs through Amazon Saheli program. Now, we said there are local shops, offline shops with forward deployed inventory available, and they are busy serving their local local traffic coming into their store. They probably didn't have time to think about online and stuff. How do we help them succeed in this new modern e-commerce world? Hence, the local shop program was born to say, number one, from a local Kirana shops or local shops in general, they have forward deployed inventory. They have delivery capabilities because there is always a person to go and deliver the product. Then they also have services. Like, for example, if you buy a mobile phone from a nearby store, they will come and do the data transfer for you, contact transfer for you. Or if you buy a mattress, they will come and replace it. If you buy a TV, they will install it. So they have the value-added services. And they always want more traffic. In the traditional world, the local shops, the only way you can grow the business is to open another shop 5 kilometers away or 10 kilometers away. Because that is the only way to expand, because after a certain point, you become saturated with the traffic coming from that neighborhood. So what we said was, why don't we launch a program that gives incremental traffic to the local shops, leveraging their capabilities to serve the customers better. And we don't want to interfere in this experience, because when you're shopping through the product, if you come across a shop, for example, Sangeeta Mobiles, then you say, okay, I know this store and I can connect to it. If I can order it, I don't have to go to the store. While we piloted this for 6 months and we have more than 5,000 offline shops across the country, what we realized was during COVID, we realized this program has become even more important today. The reason is not only during COVID, but even as we come out of the COVID as a ramp up, most people are going to be very cautious. They are not going to step out unless it's critical. Unless it's important, they are not going to go to the store and buy the product because of the social distancing and stuff. And it's going to be a long path to get to BAU. So the normal foot traffic that was coming to local shops is reducing. What if this program helps address that gap so that they can get incremental traffic? In addition, once they are in the local shops program, they also have capability to serve that product throughout the region and throughout the country, where we take care of the transportation. So, like, for example, we launched a small electronics store in Hyderabad called Adit Electronics, and their owner, Chari, says like they've never received orders or customers from other parts of Hyderabad other than the 2 or 3 kilometer radius. They are super happy to receive orders from other parts of the states or the city in this case. Same for Lucknow-based gourmet manufacturer and gourmet grocery products. So what we are seeing is it's no longer about online versus offline. It's more about online plus offline, and how are these two channels complementing each other. And they realize it's not practical for everybody to open 100 shops or even 5 shops for that matter for a small business owner, because my sister used to, like 20 years ago, my sister started a small shop where selling like, notebooks and pens and normal Kirana shop. And we had to shut down because that became ineffective, and we couldn't continue. So I've seen that happening. And what we are seeing is opening a second store itself is a big dream for a lot of these shops. But what we are saying is you don't have to open a second shop to grow your business by twice. You can do that just by being in your current location and open up your inventory for the national customers. We will take care of that. So we are seeing a convergence, and we are seeing a lot of exciting engagement from the current local shop owners. And we think it's going to be a huge lever in the months to come.
Yeah. Gopal, what I also hear you saying is that there is no online or offline. It is blended. The world we are living is overlapping, and one has to collaborate with the other to be
Correct.
successful.
And it's for a good thing, right? Because like 20 years ago, who have we seen opening multiple stores? The rich of the rich, like who had the working capital. Like we haven't seen many SMBs coming out and opening 10 stores, because it's impossible, because they are just focused on the current store. But right now the world has changed. So now they can send their kids to big schools or studies and stuff, because the access to wealth creation has evolved drastically. So the SMB's success has become only the function of their motivation and ability to learn new things and focus on customer experience. If they produce the quality products, and if you are willing to talk about the product in a digital world and operate it, then there is nothing can stop you from succeeding.
Yeah. This is actually, I think, truly bringing democracy.
You put it right. Yeah.
I wanted to ask that you have today you have the data insights on all these small businesses, companies, and I've been speaking to a lot of people, and they're saying that lending is going to be very difficult right now, and government, of course, has to subsidize and has to put cash back in the hands of businesses to actually get that revival. Is Amazon are you thinking to collaborate with some of these lending guys with some of these, bad word, but NBFCs to bring capital in the hands of small businesses?
Absolutely. So we have an existing program called Seller Lending Network.
Okay.
See, Amazon.in is a marketplace which connects sellers and customers, right? Sellers come and list the product, customers buy from them. Same, the Seller Lending Network is based on the same concept. We are working with 8+ lenders who offer loans to lakhs and lakhs of our sellers. But because multiple people are competing for that loan, they are able to offer the best-in-class interest rates to the sellers. Now, sellers can choose who they wanted to take the loan from. Our partners offer anywhere between 50,000 to 5 crores, and at the interest competitive rate. But you are still right. When the credit becomes difficult to get, even these banks and NBFCs will struggle. But at the same time, government has already announced some of the initiatives in it. We can be the kind of the liaison in making sure that the motivated and deserving SMBs get access to capital through our NBFC partners. If NBFC and the banking partners can get the support from the government, and it's all going to help revive the economy faster.
Thanks. What you are saying is that you already have existing relationships with lenders, and on your platform today, small businesses can look at, through these partners like a marketplace model, look at capital.
Yeah.
You talked about different measures, but two things I want to ask you. One, and this, Gopal, I'm asking you specifically because I've always been very interested and curious to talk to you, because I know, your designation is very interesting, but more importantly, I feel that the kind of data, the kind of insight you will be getting working in this space in India, which is as diverse, and one seller is as different, and one's city and state is as different. I want to understand from all your exposure in the last few years, what are some of the key on ground things you will say makes a small seller successful, makes a small business successful? And what are some of the things you've seen some very smart sellers had the opportunity, but they missed it because they didn't do these things right?
What I see commonly in successful sellers, to answer your question, is the motivation and the passion to succeed, right? They are always looking for opportunities. Like when I meet a seller who's making 1 lakh, for example, their question to me is, how do I get to 50 lakhs? Right? Understandable. Then I meet a seller who is making 1 crore. Their question is, how do I get to 5 crore? Then I meet a seller who is making 10 crores. Their question is, how do I get to 100 crores? So they are always hungry about how to succeed in life and how to make their progress, not get saying, let's get settled here, which is awesome, which is fantastic to see. Number two, a lot of these entrepreneurs are quickly becoming digital entrepreneurs. So they participate in multiple digital programs like Amazon Pay, Kari, I Have Space and Easy and B2B and other things. Three, they produce innovative products. For example, the Play Shifu example I talked about, or there is a artisan seller from a small village called Pochambali in Andhra. His mom makes the hand-woven saris, and he came to one of our forums 3 years ago, and he said, half of the money is spent because I go to a mandap to sell this product where things get damaged because they have to put everything in the show. By the time the transportation comes, everything is taken away. So now he is grown significantly and conducting the full thing through digitally through Seller mobile app. And I also see established entrepreneurs like there is a very famous wet grinder brand called Saubhagya Wet Grinder in the South. And their proprietor, Vardarajan, he is excited about succeeding in e-commerce. So when you hear all of these things, you see the passion and the desire to do. Then there is a seller called Vijaya Rajan. She is in one of our faces in Amazon story boxes, where in the package you see the story box example. Her story is unique. Like her husband started swimming, and she wanted to help him. He's a vegetarian with an energy bar that's vegetarian friendly. Since he liked it, she started a brand called Sirimiri, and she is already successful, employing 20 plus women in Yeshwanthpur, one of the zones. And there is another woman called who's behind a Crack of Dawn, which is paper-based gifting products. And she is helping 50 plus women entrepreneurs in her company. So across the board, what you see is that spirit, the entrepreneurial spirit, and the success and ability to learn new things, because it's not like everybody came with the e-commerce knowledge. They learned it on the job, and their attention to detail to customer reviews, pricing, product category expansion is like a lot of the things you learn in MBA, they are figuring it out as we speak and competing globally, not only in India, and successful. To answer the reverse question, I would put that as a challenge, and that is the part we are trying our hard. When people are not successful, what can we do? So we created a seller university with 700 plus videos in 5 different languages to help them succeed, to talk about the importance of how do you create a good quality catalog, how do you create a good quality images. Because without those things, it's very difficult to, and more importantly, reacting to the feedback the customers give to make the products better so that the products are not defective or damaged. So when they look at these as opportunities, I see even people who didn't succeed initially ended up succeeding in the long run.
You also have a startup launch pad, right? Where the startups,
Yes.
you have a separate program for startups?
Yes. And it's a program for entrepreneurs who want that initial period to see how do you create brand, how do you position your brand, what are the ways you can get the kickstart. So Mama Earth was
Yeah.
a part of Launchpad. Dosi, which is a brand which specialized in tracking your sleep factors through a device. So there are a lot of, we have more than 1,000 Launchpad brands available on Amazon. And recently we are seeing a lot of these brands are also creating specialized masks, clothing masks, PPEs, those kind of products related to COVID. And if you are an young entrepreneur interested in establishing a brand for yourself, and in the long run, if you wanted to create that level of impact, Launchpad is a great program.
Yeah. I see, Gopal, we all look up to Amazon. Uh, what a fantastic company, and what a fantastic brand. And it's at the end of the day, of course, e-commerce is a tech digital company. And I want to ask you is that, to get through these programs, the Startup Launchpad, Amazon Export, there's so many things you said, Amazon Saheli, Amazon Easy, I Have Space. Do you need to know someone in Amazon, or just go online and it happens?
You go online. We don't need to know anyone. But if you need someone, we are there.
Huh.
So that's the difference. You don't need to know it, but not everybody is equally equipped to handle a lot of these things. So that's where we created something called Service Provider Network. I didn't talk about it. It's again another marketplace, which is helping entrepreneurs who know the digital system very well, but they are not a manufacturer. So what they do is they will provide consulting services to the entrepreneurs. And say, for example, if you want to take images, they will take images at 2 rupee image product. And we have 1,000 such service providers in 100 plus cities who can help you become an Amazon seller if you are having doubts. And there we don't play a role. We just train them and certify those SPMs, and they can come help.
Where do you find them?
We find them through the Seller Central, which is our portal where all the sellers come in, where we'll say, we also rate them based on the seller feedback. So you can pick the one who are well rated with competitive rates to come and help you. You can even hire them to say, hey, come help set me for the first 30 days. I'll pay you daily wages of this. So they can teach you end to end within 30 days. Wow. So there are a lot of such opportunities, because one thing to remember is, while we are extremely happy with the global systems we have from Amazon.com and the 20 years plus experience, a lot of innovations we built for Indian sellers in mind, and the Saheli and Karigar and the service provider network, because the Indian environment is different. The technology savviness is different. So we can't say we won't help you because you don't have that capability. It is our responsibility to help enable you so that you can succeed.
Yeah. Thank you. We are learning a lot about different things we can leverage Amazon, and I hope all the businesses and entrepreneurs are listening. There's a lot of opportunity, lot of things you could do through the platform, and it's a win-win platform, and a platform where we are hearing about stories where businesses have done very well. I wanted to ask you, how have you been dealing with the lockdown? What have you been up to in the last 2 months?
It's been challenging to start with, right? Because nobody expected this to last for long. When we initially happened, it was like, okay, days, it will get better kind of a thing. While COVID has created a significant impact for everyone, at the end of the day, a lot of us are in a very, very privileged situation,
Yes.
having a home, having a job, and compared to lakhs and lakhs of stranded Indians across the country, when you look at those photos, all your problems are kind of classic problems for you to deal with. So our focus has been, how do we serve the customers better and help the livelihoods of the small businesses? And when we put that as the core focus, everybody rallied around that purpose, because it's one thing to watch the situation from the sidelines, but another thing is to be part of the solution to solve the problem.
Yeah.
And we are humbled to be part of that solution, because a lot of customers, not only in India, worldwide, are depending on Amazon for serving their day-to-day needs. And from that perspective, we completely pivoted our approach. And when we measured our productivity, when we asked them, they said it's as good as, if not better, productive, similar lines to when they work from offices. What we are focusing a lot is on communication. We have been constantly communicating with our sellers. We've been constantly communicating with our employees to understand their pain points and how to solve them. And the good news is we have a lot of mechanisms that work for us. 6-page narrative, PRFAQ as a way to explain a customer problem. Think about decisions as a two-way door decision or a one-way door decision. If it is a two-way door decision, we don't wait. We make it, and if it is wrong, we will come back and correct it. And a lot of the seller waiver program we talked about was like, it's just do the right thing, even when nobody is looking, right? So that helped us earn trust with the sellers. And if you are short-term focused and if you're not doing the right thing, then you will never get the long-term trust of the seller. So we are obsessed in that way, customer obsessed, seller obsessed, and our focus has been doing the right thing, and that's helping us. I feel like I'm talking to my team more now than BAU time period.
Tell us, like MSME in the short term has to get revived, and it has to. We have to come back. We have to come back strong. What would your recommendation be?
So number one is keep the positive attitude every MSME had. Do not lose hope. This is a small setback. It doesn't take away all the good things that worked in favor of you. All the MSMEs, their natural tendency to grow, passion to succeed. These small blockers shouldn't stop you from doing. Number two, all of us, all the private corporations and companies understand SMBs is the backbone of our economy. So it is the best interest of everyone to help the MSMEs. I talked about many programs Amazon is doing. So we are with you in this journey. And particularly in the ramp up period, we want to make sure that our policies, processes, and everything are helping hands for you, not necessarily pushing you down. We want you to come with us so that we can see the responsible growth in the months and decades to come. And then government, as we discussed, few things that can really help create jobs and help the liquidity. More importantly, I think exports can be a driving factor for Indian economy, and how can we, government and other companies can help. And Amazon is in a great position to help the exports field. And that is going to, then your addressable customers are suddenly increased, because you're not just talking about one country, you're talking about 185 countries.
Yeah.
So there is a huge opportunity ahead of us. And I believe we can cross this together. We will win. I have no question about it.
Well, thank you so much, Gopal. And the big number that you're saying for 2025, $10 billion GMS, right, from Indian small businesses when they export globally through your platform. Thank you, and thank you for coming and encouraging and talking to small businesses, entrepreneurs, and we look forward to leveraging your platform. Yeah, and listening more from you, because as I said, you are one of the foremost voices who is working with the small businesses in this country, with the MSMEs, and it is a privilege for all of us to be talking to you. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for asking really impactful questions for the audience got the benefit of.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day. Stay safe.
You too. Thanks.